Start game. Start new. We're going to do full career mode. Oh, I should have made a flag with like my doofy face or something from for the stream. That would have been funny. We'll stick with the default for now, though. I think I can change it. Stream. So, difficulty options. I don't think I'll fiddle with any of those. So anyway, the career mode is where I have to worry about not only research and science to unlock parts, but also funding in order to pay to upgrade facilities and to build the ships. I think most people don't play on career; they just play science because career mode does, sometimes you have to like stop trying to get further and do some missions to get funding, but it also, kind of forces you to do some different things you might not want otherwise in order to get your funding. Alright. Gather scientific data on Kerbal. Launch our first vessel. Escape the atmosphere. Now, I think I don't have to officially accept these. I think these just work. Let's see what happens. Because I can only accept 2 contracts at a time to start with because of how not advanced everything is. Let's just see if this works. We're going to do a little science. We're going to put a command pod out with... Just for the heck of it, we'll even put a scientist in it. And we will launch it. It has no engine. It's not going anywhere. But we can do some science. Here's Bob Kerman. Here he is in the command pod. He can get out of the command pod, kind of, except that gravity's kind of pulling him in a weird direction. I mean, he can get out of his chair in the command pod and look around, but he doesn't really have anywhere he can walk to within there. But he can also climb out. Wearing a spacesuit, even though he can't actually do an EVA, we don't have our facilities upgraded enough for that. I was thinking there's some way I could make him wave, but I guess not. You just see him. Oh, he's looking at his... Yes, you're wearing a suit. No, you can't brush it off. No, I can lower the visor, raise the visor, remove the helmet. Do an EVA report. EVA report from Launchpad. I don't think a spacesuit was entirely necessary to get here, was it? And then we can do a crew report. And let's see if that was good enough. World first milestones. Oh, we got a world first for performing an EVA test at home. I didn't know I didn't know that was one. Alright, since we just recovered our craft from the landing pad, that didn't actually cost us anything. We got 100% of our money back. We didn't wind up really using anything. Oh, except a tiny bit of oxygen and food and water, but it looks like that... Well, I guess the food had some value, but the water and oxygen didn't. And we got a tiny bit of science from the crew report and whatnot. Oh, and I guess we did... Where's the world's first milestones? We performed the first one of our experiments at home, but I think the actual contract included a science bonus that I didn't get, so maybe I do need to take these. Well, let's try to launch our vessel and escape the atmosphere. We might not be able to do both of those in one try, but especially unless I walk around a bit more to get a little more science. But But let's see what we can build with our starting rocket parts. It's not going to be very special. And I think our chance of escaping the atmosphere are quite low with what we can make, because I don't think we have any decouplers or anything. Yeah, we got our command pod. We have this dinky little solid rocket booster. I guess I could put more... use these girders to, like, attach more rocket boosters, maybe, on the sides. Got no coupling. I do fins are a thing. Oh, mystery goo for more science. So I could get a little more science that way. Parachute, we'll need that. That's it, I guess. Now, center of gravity, or mass, rather, and aerodynamics. So, this blue ball being above this yellow ball means that my rocket is going to want to flip over and point at the ground. That is not how I want my rocket to be. So I will put a couple fins on this. That is a little better. Wait, what is that? What is this? What is this weird little window? I was thinking that this would be the fuel, but no. Come on. I think something broke. First rocket. Doot 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 doot. Come on. Okay. Huh, yeah, why is this so bizarre? This should not be this way. Like, I think the slider that I'm sliding is the thrust limiter. I want to be sliding the fuel. But I guess I'll be happy with the thrust limiter since I can't actually do anything that I want to. What if I put another one out here? Now I could try making some very weird Kerbal-y thing. Where I do like something like where I attach some more rockets on the side. Problem is I can't dump those rockets off because I don't have any parts for that. But what the heck, just for fun and because we should do ridiculous things in Kerbal Space Program, let's do that. Why do you want my rockets to be upside down? That won't help me get off the ground. I want to be really straight, if at all possible. Try to level these. That's not terrible. Okay, now our rocket is going to want to point up, which is good. I don't know if just this parachute will be enough, so let's also put on parachutes on these. This is a very expensive first rocket. Now our thrust to weight ratio is going to be way... Okay, I can't modify... It's ignoring my right click completely now on everything? I really broke something. I am so confused. See, the problem is if I don't lower the thrust limiter on these guys, my thrust to weight ratio is going to be way too high, and it might just break my rocket apart. But I don't know why it's I don't know how I broke the UI already. Maybe if I just launch a command pod again, then I'll be able to correct it somehow. It's also possible one of my mods broke on me, but I haven't been having any problems with it before. Well, here's this broken thing again. Well, let's just try this and see what happens. I'm gonna let's do Valentina Kerbal this time. And try to see where we can get. Don't know why I'm increasing the throttle. These are solid boosters, so here we go. Going up. World first milestones. We have launched our first vessel and broken a speed record of 25 meters per second. Let's turn our rocket. Try to turn our rocket a little bit so they don't crash back down on the landing pad. Probably want to go for a water landing if possible. Okay, our center rocket just went out. Any curiosity. And we got some drag, but we don't really have enough report. Flying over Kerbal shores. Sure, let's do that. Well, we managed to get out of the just barely get out of the thickest part of the atmosphere. I don't know if I would have been better off just sending up the one little rocket or not. Might have got higher. We're not. And we're going slow enough I can just deploy the parachutes. And speed up time some. So we don't have to wait forever for it to get all the way down there. Parachutes are going to open fully. Right now we're going 50 meters per second, which is way too fast. Now we're going 7.5 meters per second, which is still kind of too fast. Hopefully it'll slow down a little more than that. But probably the rocket can... These engines can probably take it. The command pod should be able to. I'd like everything to stay together, though, so that I can recover the whole thing and not spend too much money on this. There we go. Woo. Hi, ground control. I'm just doing a little bit of KSP for the end of the stream. Oh, thank you for the follow. Got Ferrum Aerospace and some other mods, mostly visual mods. Usually I just play with Ferrum Aerospace and that's about it. And I used to play with like Kerbal Attachment System, but I was gonna. I haven't played it in a few years, and I was gonna try the like official whatever the last expansion was called that has some of those features from inventory and attachment system. So where are we at? Okay, we got a few missions. So as we do missions and get some of those world first milestones, we get... So yeah, this one showed up in the archives. We get... Our reputation goes up, and so we get offers for more missions. Some of these are like, do a crew report at some place, at some altitude. Sometimes you have to use some different tools for some of these things. And then there's testing different parts. Usually these require you to be in some specific state. Like this one is an easy one, actually. It's just landed at Kerbal, so I can just try to use it. LVT-45 is a nice engine, too, to start with. That would certainly get me off of into orbit if I got some fuel tanks to go with it. I think the Flea is the booster I was just using. Let's go ahead and take that one. Then these 2-star and 3-star ones are harder. Like actually getting in orbit now, it's going to be kind of impossible unless I unlock some technology first. Yeah, we'll test the Flea. Oh, I still have an active one. Oh, escape the atmosphere. Right, that's important. Gotta do that at some point. And there's always the danger that I'll go down the rabbit hole of building a plane, and then later building a space plane, which is tends to be very time-consuming for me, both because the actual building of planes takes a lot of tweaking, and also because flying planes takes a while. Let's see, what do I have? Oh, right, I still need to actually go research some of new technology. We also want to get funds to upgrade our facilities so that we can use more parts and have larger rockets, planes, better runways, take more contracts at once. I can actually go ahead and... Actually, I could do some of the smaller upgrades, but I don't really need to yet. So here we have basic rocketry, gets us the LVT-45 swivel, which is a nice engine. That kind of all-around decent engine. Bigger booster, and a little dinky fuel tank. And here we have a bunch of important kind of basic parts. Main one being this decoupler and these other decouplers that I guess came with universal storage for some reason. And the thermometer, which is a nice science part to get more science, and then some antennas that I don't need to deal with for a while, because I won't have any batteries for a while, so... And then I don't have enough science for these other things. Come on. Okay. I can double check our... Alright, test the Fleece, all the booster, and try to escape the atmosphere. That is probably doable now. Put a decoupler there so we can eject the rest of the rocket. Instead of having to come down with the whole thing. Fuel tanks. Now, I don't think I can make a rocket that can achieve orbit with what I've got, at least not very easily. But getting out of the atmosphere should be possible. Let's see, 1,000. That's still a huge thrust to weight ratio. It's just Keep pouring on the fuel tanks. Now, I also want to test the flea. Problem is the flea is not really probably going to help us very much. I don't have any radial decouplers to just stick a couple on the side. Should be... then they could actually help us a bit. But what I can do... let's see, how close am I to the part limit? I think I can have 30 parts? Yeah, I've got 10 out of 30. What I can do is I can put a hammer down here. I don't know why this is broken now. This wasn't broken when I was playing with these mods the other day. But apparently all my solid rocket boosters are now broken. And we'll stick a couple fleas on the side. Come on. Be in a nice position. There. Ah! I can't turn their thrust limiters down. Looks like we do need some fins here. Maybe more fins than that. Just to be somewhat confident there. Now for science, we can at least put on thermometers, because those are cheap and easy. And not bulky, and not huge amounts of drag. Suborbital... suborbital rocket? Question mark? Probably. This should be able to get... but I really need to put the... crank the thrust on those fleas down, if that's gonna do anything. Hopefully if I leave and come back, that'll work. I should probably just restart KSP, it just takes too long to load. Okay, here we go. Actually have those somewhat high. Okay, good enough. That's a very high ground thrust weight ratio, but at some point those fleas will give out, and then we'll just coast on that hammer, which hopefully has enough thrust to at least counteract gravity. Should have double-checked my staging, but I guess it's fine. Yep. And go down. Log temperature here. And sort of lean to the side a little bit. Try and get somewhat away from the launch pad. Yep, we are losing speed. That's okay. I'll jettison these boosters. Fire the main engine. Pretty sure we are not aerodynamically stable. Nope. Whoops. That's fine. We're not going to leave the atmosphere this time. Apparently I needed to put some fins on the middle of the rocket there. Okay, we can just coast for a little bit. Get over the shores. Or get away from the shores and over the water and log a different temperature scan. Report? Okay, now we're over the water. Got a couple more scans for science. I still got credit for testing the solid fuel booster. So that's something. Double check, make sure what my oh yeah, we got tons of battery on this command pod. Oh, forgot to drop that. Head and pop parachute. That giant pause, I guess, was something exploding somewhere. There's something else exploded. That might have been the stack separator. Or the decoupler, rather. Or maybe it was just part of the rocket. I don't know. There were a bunch of pieces, I think, flying around there for a little while. Valentina looks fine, though. Though I guess I should probably use my flipped stream view for this game, but there isn't any real great place to put like my face. It's like the upper right has all of the, has a lot of useful information. Bottom left has some useful information and has more in different modes. Top left, I guess the top left there isn't too much if I pulled it away from the very top. Stop bouncing. Okay, let's well, I guess we can research something else now. Either some new engines that actually aren't that useful for right now, be more useful for bigger rockets. A double-sized fuel tank, which would be nice for saving parts, so it has many. Radial decouplers, which are super useful for sticking. That way you can stick the boosters on the sides of your rocket instead of just on the bottom, which makes it easier to make something that's stable once you've decoupled. And then survivability, which sounds important. Also includes a barometer for more science. And this is where like the initial like the life support mod, like all of its stuff starts coming in. But I don't need to worry about any of that for these short flights. The command pod can hold enough life support for like a few hours? At least, I think. So yeah, I think I'm gonna go with stability. You know, it might not actually really matter, because I don't know if I'm gonna use any of those. Oops, I didn't mean to click on the space plane hanger. There's not time for me to make a plane, and I don't have the parts for it. Unless I was just going to make a rocket-powered plane, which would be very weird and inefficient. Yeah, with a 45 engine, that would be so strange and unstable. I guess I could do this, test the swivel landed at Kerbal. Yeah, let's do that. That actually works well with the radial decoupler I just unlocked, because I can still have boosters. I can just have that, I can just have the main engine. I can throttle it down right away. Or I can throttle it down as the weight of the craft goes down. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That's way a lot of fuel for just getting into this. with enough boosters, I might even be able to get this into orbit, but not really gonna try to. Shoot. Got radial decouplers, but before I put the radial decouplers on, let's make this thing be stable. Aerodynamics. That's not gonna do it. Really? That's still not enough, huh? What about these winglets? Well, that will do it. Try to not have quite so many of them. Can I get away with just 2 of those? Yeah, okay. Well, we'll try that. And then some radial decouplers. Where's my coupling? There. And some hammers. Hammer solid rocket booster things. Nose cones. Alright, we need to fire our main... For our contract, we need to fire this engine when we're on the ground. So I need that to be in the first... Okay, our thrust... But I don't really need to give it any throttle. So our thrust limiter for that... That's... about 1.5. So let's turn this down to about there. Yeah, this isn't enough to get into orbit, but this should be enough to break atmosphere if it remains stable this time. Which it should. Oh, except I am goofy and I did not put in a stack separator here, which might make it so that we couldn't actually... or a decoupler, which might make it so we couldn't get down safely. There. More parachutes. If I did survivability, I could probably put more parachutes on the outside and bring the whole thing down and recover more funds that way, but... Okay, should be more stable this time. Let's see what happens. A little more juice until we get up to like 100 meters per second. Then we'll just coast on the boosters for a bit. Whoa. Nope. Don't turn over too hard. Oh, don't tell me you're... Oh, it's wanting to flip again. Since my sliders aren't working, I can't check... I wasn't able to really check what it looked like if when these are empty and this is full. I'll get a little bit more control if I kick in the main engine, though. Because it's vectored, so you can see it turns as I operate the controls. Okay, kick it in some more because my boosters are about to cut off. Dump the boosters, and we're up. Going up. Up and up and up. Let's see. Apoapsis is 40k. If that gets up to, I think 70 is considered out of the atmosphere, so if we get up... Oh, I forgot to put any science instruments on this, darn it. Oh well, I I can still take a crew report at least outside of the atmosphere. And we are almost... No, in fact, we are absolutely on a suborbital trajectory now. Kind of overdid that. Here we are on the map. Broken speed and altitude records. And we are outside of the atmosphere, so that one's complete. Crew report. Done. I don't think I have enough fuel to circularize this orbit. My tracking system doesn't actually let me place maneuver nodes, but I'm pretty sure I'd have to get up to something like 2,000 meters per second, and I only have about 700 delta V, so my apoapsis is kind of high, so it might not need as much. I guess I could see what it looks like. Though, line up on the prograde marker here and fire at full throttle for a few seconds. Yeah, no, that's not going to happen. But we can coast in space for a little bit. Weird. There's some aerodynamic arrows stuck on too for some reason. Yeah, something is kind of messed up, and I don't know why, but whee! Let's spin Jeb around. Oh, I guess we got Jebediah this time. Whee! Let's spin the other way. Woo! Spinning. Okay, now let's just get back into the atmosphere. I lost my mouse. I'm really wanting to hit spacebar for some reason. But that is not the right... There we go. I guess right click fixed that. Gonna be coming in kind of fast and hot because of how high our apoapsis went, but got some fuel to slow down with. Let's things start warming up. And we'll dump that rocket off. And put our butt retrograde. There goes our rocket engine and fuel tanks. Actually, I probably just turn SAS off. The command pod will normally tend to butt into the air if it's already kind of going butt first. Down into the ocean we go. And my GPU fans just kicked on for some reason. I guess from these atmospheric effects. Jebediah likes to live dangerously with his parachutes. There's actually way plenty of time for that. I'll go ahead and do it now, though. The parachutes don't fully open by default until you get to 1,000 meters above the ground anyway, so I think it's above ground, not above sea level. Do. 5, 4, 3, 2. Weird. I'm used to like a command pod with nothing but a regular, just a command pod with one parachute should be going more like just under 5 meters per second. I thought. I must be remembering wrong. Recover. Wait, did I take a crew report in space? Like I meant to? Maybe I even forgot to do that. Oh yeah, I did at least do a crew report. We got a little more science. Plus we got some little bit of science from all this other... From recovering a vessel that went in space in the first time, and also from the contracts and world first. Or at least the contracts. So orbit Kerbin is next, which is probably doable now. Tested decoupler, landed at Kerbin. I'm going to do that just because it's kind of funny. Real quick. Ferry 4 tourists. 4? Take 4 tourists on a suborbital flight. That's a lot. I would need 5 command pods. Really, I'd need like 1 command pod and 2 crew cabins, but I don't have crew cabins yet. Mostly... And, yeah, these tourist ones do award a lot of reputation if you need that. The funds... This one has a fair amount of funds just because it's so many Kerbals. I have a lot of funds for upgrade, actually, now. So let's upgrade... I want to upgrade the tracking station pretty soon. I probably don't need that just to do an orbit, though. But it's real useful to have be able to use maneuver nodes for things a little more complicated than an orbit. And being able to take more contracts is nice. Also being able to launch larger rockets and build rockets with more parts. That's expensive though. But this is cheap. I'll do that. So we can take more of these things at once now. So I'm going to grab Orbit Kerbin. Just to have it. In flight over Kerbin. This is pretty high altitude, but I could do this. That'd be doable, and it'd be worth quite a bit. Might be better to do on re-entry, actually, if I could get slow enough. Here's a single VIP who also wants a suborbital flight. And then there's still a bunch of flying things that I would need airplane parts to really do, probably. Let's see how close those are. I don't have time to build a plane tonight, but that might be something to try next time. Tracking station. Here's the space center. See, like this one's real close. I could even just shoot a little dinky rocket over there to do that. I wouldn't need a plane. But it's probably not really worth doing. Until I have something more reusable. I wonder if there's something I need to click on for my things to work properly. I don't know. Let's head to the vehicle assembly building and see if we can just do our little decoupler test. Just clear. I think I just do that to clear. So we're going to take this, we're going to rotate it so it's laying on its side. We're going to put a mystery goo unit on it and a thermometer just to get some readings at the launch pad. And then we're going to put the decoupler I'm supposed to be testing on it. It's a TD25 decoupler. This one, which is an extra big one. So for more extra goofs. Structural, I don't think I have a support for the... I don't think I have anything that'll hold the command pod in place. I just have to assume that this isn't going to be a big enough thing to, like, damage it. Maybe I'll just actually turn it... No, I'll do this. We'll do it the way it is. We'll see what happens. Untitled spacecraft. Okay, mystery goo doesn't seem to be doing much right now. I lost my thermometer because my pod flipped over. There it is. Temperature readings are quite literally nominal. And boom! Boom! And we completed our contract to test that on the ground. Who knows why they wanted us to do that. I think they could have done that at their own facility, but... So that one was a bit silly, but that was what I had time for. I'm gonna may as well research some of these other basic techs. Now I don't have enough for any of these other ones. But here we have more advanced rockets, including the LV-909, which is kind of an awesome yet terrible engine. Doesn't have an alternator and isn't vectored, but is very good for engine to use once you're out of the atmosphere. It's also just has terrible thrust when you're in the atmosphere. Until you get at least pretty high. This has crew cabins, which would be great for all those passenger missions because they carry 2 Kerbals. And we have this launch stability thing, which are towers that will hold your aircraft up. Or spacecraft upright. That's before launch. That's actually really useful when they start getting big and want to just fall over instead of stand up. And we have some basic aircraft parts, including jet engines, in the cockpit, and some wing pieces, landing gear. You know, things for aircraft. It's hard to make a plane that can do very much with just those, but then we have some more wing type things and a reaction wheel, which Unless I'm making something big, the reaction wheel that I've got in the command pod is enough. Or if I'm making something with this probe. Because we don't have to... Kerbals don't have to fly all the ships. You can make unmanned ships with something like this probe. But it doesn't have all the things built into it that a command pod does. And this is also where we get batteries. No way to charge the batteries except through engines, and the alternators built into some of the engines. But oh, and the Science Junior for more science. But yeah, that's definitely kind of the next tier of things. And this here is the last tier that we can do without upgrading our research center. But of course, that is a whole lot more science. Like, this stuff here was not that much science. It was like less than 30 science each for these. And these are 45 each, and these are 90. And you can only get, and for the most part, you can only get all the ways I have to get science now. I can only do each of them once in any given situation. Like, if I do another temperature reading on the launch pad, I won't get any more science out of it. So I already did that one. Same with crew reports. Mystery Goo, you can get a little bit more the second or third times, but it has greatly diminishing returns. And then contracts will often give me little bits of science, but it's only typically like, 1 to 5 points or something like that. Test Thumper Solid Fuel Booster at the launch site. That's a thing that could be useful to just use. Though really, I don't know that I need any boosters that big for a while. Anyway, I'm going to save. Hopefully if I do this again in another stream, it won't be my solid rocket booster sliders won't glitch out. I don't know what was up with that, but hopefully it won't do that again. But yeah, so next Tuesday, I think I'll do some Master of Orion again. If I stream before that, I'll probably do Kerbal Space Program, but the plan is to do a Master of Orion that will, get a little further and won't be quite so boring. As just me stuck in my little corner where I can actually go out and, do more stuff and be in contact with more races and be more involved with them. Like, we didn't even get to the point where we could vote. I don't know. Like, I was thinking of doing some Kerbal, like shorter 1 hour or so Kerbal streams, maybe on days like, I don't know, maybe tomorrow, maybe some other days. I've got some... We're still kind of busy this week, and I don't know if that'll work out, but those will be more... And I might even just put those up on YouTube and not stream them, too. It kind of depends. But yeah, I might have some random, shorter streams for that. But the main stream will still be on... The next main stream will still be next Tuesday, unless something weird happens, and it doesn't happen then. And should be Master of Orion again. Probably at least 1 or 2 more of those. As a playthrough of Master of Orion should take me more than 1 stream, probably. Like, a decent one would probably be 2 or 3 streams, probably. Or somewhere, maybe even longer, but probably somewhere in that vicinity. And then you can be done with that. And move on to Final Fantasy IV, or Master of Orion 2, but probably Final Fantasy IV. So yeah, have a good week and good night. Rayburst and whoever else is still around. Maybe hopefully we'll have a better... Hopefully we will be the Master of Orion next week. Maybe even find Orion, which we didn't even do this time. So yeah, good night.